Hey everyone, welcome to another update video. I hope you guys are doing well and getting ready for the coming spring. Here are just a few things that have happened this past February.
So this past month, ESL has continued to have a good group of people coming each week. It's been really sweet to have those relationships continue to build, and some new students continue to join us each time. Also with ESL, Becky and I recently started meeting with a few students to help them prepare for their citizenship test. This is a completely new realm. I don't really know a lot about how to prepare for this test, but we've been trying to help them the best way that we can, and so that's exciting to be able to do that, to meet that need, but also to have some extra time to spend with these students each week. Also, the last week in February, we got to talk to a lot of our students about Ramadan. A lot of our students are Muslim. We have some that are multiple different beliefs and religions and represented in the class, but we got to have conversations with our students as they prepare for Ramadan and as they are excited for Ramadan, and got to ask them, like, what do you pray for and what are you cooking, and so it's just good conversations. And I'm also just hopeful that this month, as they are fasting and celebrating Ramadan, that we'll get to have more conversations about that.
With our teen ministry, we have continued meeting this past month. One of the things we wanted to do this year is to try to do a quarterly visit with the local high school. And so back right before Valentine's Day, we took little bags of Hershey Kisses with a Bible verse printed on there and gave it to the faculty, and just a way to bless them and help them to feel seen and appreciated by people in the neighborhood, and to also build that relationship where they know where we're at and who we are and what we believe. And so that has been met with favor and with kindness. And even one of the ladies who works at the front desk talked about how this warmed her heart, and it was encouragement to her. And so we're thankful that as a church we're able to do these things, and we're just praying that the Lord would open doors through that not only would this youth ministry touch the teens, but also the teachers and the faculty of the school. With our study hall and Bible study, we've continued having that each week, and kids have come to hang out and spend time together. And I feel like lately there's been some more drama, some more things that the teens are dealing with, and Hannah and I are just praying that the Lord would protect this, that even if it seems silly and inconsequential, the enemy will use it. He will use stuff to keep teenagers out and provide excuses. And so we're just hoping that these teens would get along with one another, they would be friends, but regardless, that the Lord would use whatever is happening to open doors and provide opportunities for us to point them to Jesus, even if they don't stay for Bible study. If we're just playing bananagrams, that we can talk about their life, what the Lord is doing, and be able to point them to the Lord.
This past month, we started back up our super small groups, and so there is currently a couple women's groups meeting and a men's group meeting, and hopefully those groups will continue to split and become more and more groups. But Ben and I this semester, we have decided to restart our young adult super small group, and we've gotten to meet a lot more young adults and just get to know different young adults in the neighborhood. And so being able to invite them to come into our home and to have our own kind of super small group together, and it's been really great so far. And so just praying that the Lord will continue to use that. Also, this past month, we started back up our monthly women's Bible study, and we've kind of, last year there was a lot going on, and so this year we kind of get to restart that ministry, and we'll be going through the book of James and continue to finish out our study that we were doing. But it was a great time of just fellowship, of meeting together and enjoying good food and good company.
With our kids ministry, we have just finished up our current unit, ending with Jesus calling his disciples and talking about how Jesus has saved us by living a perfect life, giving his life on the cross, and then rising again, and helping our kids to see that it is by the sacrifice of Jesus that we can be saved, that because Jesus lived and died for us, that we can have forgiveness and have hope. But one of the areas that I've been really encouraged this past month is the way our helpers have stepped up. Our leaders, they will have made sure that we've had snacks and have stepped up to lead the games and to lead the small group time, which can be pretty daunting if you haven't done it before, to plan and prep questions and to sit down and talk with kids, especially when they're just staring at you blankly. It can be intimidating, and so I'm thankful for our leaders for how they have been willing to step in and do this. And we've also have a new intern. Her name is Ella from Missouri, and she has quickly just stepped in and loved our kids and been flexible to jump in wherever. And so that has just been a huge blessing and a weight off of our shoulders. And so I'm just thankful for our kids leaders and the help that we've seen. Also, before Valentine's Day, all of our kids, they decorated Valentine's Day cards for the families that we haven't seen in a while. And one of the things that we're wanting to do is to better engage the families that have been coming and families we haven't seen in a while in more of a personal way. I'll reach out and I'll text and I'll email, but just finding ways to really love them, to let them know that they are missed and that they're wanted here. And so this is just one of the ways we did that. And we even saw a family come back this past Sunday because they got the card. And so that's just exciting. And so thankful for this ministry, and I'm excited to see how it grows.
As always, the last Sunday of the month, we give out 100 groceries, bags of groceries. And so that's just a great time for our church to come together and to serve and to put together these bags of groceries. And it's also a great time for visitors to come to church. So we had lots of visitors that Sunday. We had a lot of Albanian visitors, and Ben got to practice some of his Albanian and be a new best friend. So it was just a good time that Sunday. Also on that Sunday, we had our first information meeting for our DC mission trip. One of our goals for this year as a church is to go on our first mission trip. And so we've been looking at kind of all last year, looking at what we could possibly do, what would be realistic, and we've settled to go to Washington, D.C. and to serve with the church there. So on that Sunday after Blessing Bag, we actually had 11 people that were interested in this trip, and we didn't have enough papers for them. So it was a great turnout and a lot of interest to people just wanting to do this and wanting to get involved. And so we're excited as a staff as we continue to make preparations for this. How fun. Yes, we get to go serve, but we get to go serve together, and I'm just excited for our church in that too.
Next up, we have some upcoming ministry for you guys. This month we actually have our first mission teams of the year. This next week we have a group coming from Mississippi. It's actually a BCM there. So a group of college students are going to be up here passing out flyers, doing surveys, getting to meet people here in the neighborhood. Also after that, there's going to be a team coming for a day to do a food truck in the neighborhood. And this team comes every year. And we just have this food truck. We'll give out hot dogs and waters and coffee. And I think last year we had quesadillas or something like that. But it's also it's a great way to meet people, is just free food and coffee and conversation. And so we're excited for this team to come and bless us and bless our neighborhood that day. And lastly, our first big event of the year is our annual Easter egg hunt on April 19th. Last year, we raised about 3,000 eggs, I believe, and they were gone in just a few minutes. And so our goal this year is to hit more than 4,000 eggs, and we think we can do it. And so we're excited for that day. It's always just a great way for us to engage the neighborhood and provide a safe space for kids and families to be, but also to invite them to come to church next day and celebrate our risen Savior. And so we're excited for that day. It's always fun, and it's always beautiful outside, and just gets us excited to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus.
I have some prayer requests to wrap up this update video. First thing is just continue to pray for a new space for our church, especially this next month. As Ben mentioned, we have this mission team from Mississippi coming into town. One of the things that we really want them to do is start helping us engage with the local public schools in our neighborhood that we could possibly meet at in the future. So if you can be praying for us that God would just continue to open the right doors for a new space, we would greatly appreciate it. Also with ESL, if you would come alongside us in praying for our students this month, especially our students that are celebrating Ramadan, we are praying that God would just give them dreams and visions as they are praying more often and reading the Quran or reciting the Quran more often, and all these things, just trying to seek Allah, that through this, that God would just reveal himself to them and that we would be able to have gospel conversations with them. So be praying for that, that God would just be working greatly this month. For kids ministry, if you could be praying for the families that received a card from us this last month, that families would continue to come back and that God would just continue to work and grow this ministry. For teen ministry, if you can just be praying for the local high school, that God would continue to work in that school. We've found like an open door, and we want to just be good stewards of that and to love this staff, and Lord willing that they would come to know God through this. If you could also be praying for our teens, and as Ben said, there's so much going on and there's always drama, but also some of our students are celebrating Ramadan also, and we've got to talk to them about it, and just praying that God would continue to give open doors for us to share with all of our students the hope that we have in him. And lastly, for our super small groups, we're praying that God would just help these groups fall into place, and praying for more leadership, and also just praying that people would be invested in this, especially as we look forward to hopefully what God will do in the near future with getting our own space and just the growth that we hope to see in our church, that God would just use these groups to build up his church here in the Bronx.
Thank you guys for watching another update video. We can't believe that it's already March. This year's going by so fast, and there's so many big plans and things that we're looking forward to and working toward and anxious and hopeful about. And so it's just, we're so thankful for you guys and for your prayers for us personally and for our ministries here. We see the fruit of that. And so I ask that you continue to pray for us. Also, thank you for those of you who support us financially. We would not be here. And so we're so thankful for how the Lord has blessed you and has used you to provide for us. And so we thank you for your support. We thank you for your prayers. We're excited to share with you what God is going to do this month as we continue on. But until then, with that being said, we're going to shut up now.